My life was built on likes, and my little sister was the architect. I just didn't know she was also the one trying to burn it down. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and let me know where you're listening from in the comments. My name is Blake. I'm 22, and my job is being myself online. It sounds weird, but it's true. I post about my life, my outfits, my travels. People follow along. My younger sister, Sasha, is 20. She's my manager, my editor, my best friend. While I'm in front of the camera, she's the one in the shadows making sure I look perfect. Sasha is brilliant. She knows which filter gets the most engagement, what time to post for my East Coast followers, how to write a caption that sounds like me. She also knows me. The real me. The me who panic cries before a big brand shoot. The me who still sees the chubby, awkward girl from high school in the mirror. She's the only one I tell about my fight with my boyfriend, Leo. She's my human diary. But for the past 3 years, there's been a storm cloud over my perfect online sky. An account called Adonansier. Adonansier isn't a normal hater. They don't just say you're ugly. They say things like, you're using the blur tool on your left hip again. The unedited photo from your friend Jessica's story proves it. And they'd be right. Or, you smiled like that because the brand manager told you to. Your eyes look dead. And they'd be right. It was terrifying. It felt like someone was standing behind me, whispering my deepest fears into the internet. They knew about the D I got in sophomore year biology that I never told anyone about except Sasha. They knew I sometimes felt like Leo was with me for my follower count. Every time Adonansier struck, it was a gut punch. I'd call Sasha crying. She'd come over immediately, or if she was already there, she'd drop everything. She'd take my phone. Don't look, Blake. Just don't look. I'll handle it. And she would. She'd report the comments, block the account. It would always come back and make me tea. She'd sit with me and dissect everything. They're just jealous, she'd say, her voice so certain. They see your life and they want to break it. But they don't know you. I know you. You're stronger than this. Her words were my armor. Our bond, forged in this shared battle, felt unbreakable. I leaned on her more and more. I started asking her about everything. Should I wear this dress? Should I take this trip? What should I say to Leo? She was my guide. My protector. Last Thursday was the worst attack yet. I just landed a partnership with a sustainable activewear brand. It was my biggest deal. I posted the announcement photo, feeling on top of the world. An hour later, Adonansier commented. It was a long paragraph. It said the brand only picked me because my engagement was falling, that they were doing charity work for a dying channel. It said I was a sellout who didn't care about sustainability, that I was just a pretty face with no real substance. The brand saw it. They got nervous. The deal went on pause. I was shattered. I felt exposed and worthless. Sasha came over, her face full of concern. She made my favorite soup. She rubbed my back while I sobbed. They can't take what's yours, Blake, she whispered. This is just noise. We'll get through this. We always do. She stayed late, talking me down. We watched dumb movies until I fell into an exhausted sleep on the couch. She slept in the armchair next to me. I woke up in the middle of the night. The room was dark, lit only by the faint blue glow of the TV screen in sleep mode. My head was foggy with sadness. Then I saw a light. A small, bright rectangle of light. It was Sasha's tablet, lying face up on the coffee table. A notification had just lit up the screen. I squinted. From where I was lying, I could just read the preview text. It was a notification for the app one knew too well. The one I checked with dread every day. The preview showed a username Adonansier. And below it, the first few words of a direct message. Message sent to @BlakeRay. You're a fraud. He's only with. My blood turned to ice. I stopped breathing. The message was being typed. Now. I looked at Sasha, slumped in the armchair, her chest rising and falling in deep sleep. The tablet screen glowed in the dark, a little blue square of poison. And my sleeping sister's hand was resting peacefully just inches away from it. I didn't move. I stared at that glowing blue screen until my eyes burned. The words, message sent to @BlakeRay, just sat there, floating over my sleeping sister's face. My brain tried to find another explanation. Maybe it was a weird glitch. Maybe she was hacked. But the tablet was in our locked apartment. And Sasha was the only tech genius here. A sick, cold feeling poured into my stomach. I felt like I was going to throw up. This was the person who held my hair back when I was sick. Who told me I was beautiful? Every cup of tea, every late-night chat. Was it all part of the script? I had to know for sure. I had to be a detective in my own life. When Sasha's alarm went off a few hours later, I pretended to be asleep. I listened to her get up, grab her tablet, and go to the bathroom. My heart was hammering against my ribs. I had to act normal. I couldn't let her know I knew. That day was the hardest performance of my life. I smiled. I said, "Thanks for staying last night, you're the best." I watched her like I was studying a stranger. I started noticing patterns. Sasha was always on her phone. Even when we were watching TV together, her thumbs were flying. I'd catch a tiny smile on her face sometimes, not at what was on screen, but at her own screen. I always thought she was texting a guy or something. Now, I wondered. My first real investigation happened on our shared laptop. I told Sasha I needed to edit a video and waited until she went out for coffee. My hands shook as I opened the browser history. Most of it was normal. Fashion sites, editing software tutorials. But then I saw it. A bunch of searches from a few weeks ago, all deleted from the main history but still in the cache. Best burner phone apps 2024. Can a VPN hide your IP from Instagram? How to create an untraceable email. The proof was piling up, but it was all circumstantial. I needed a smoking gun. I needed to see an Annoncier attack with information only Sasha knew. So, I set a trap. I called my friend Maya, who Sasha has never met. In front of Sasha, I pretended to get a devastating call. My voice cracked perfectly. "Oh my God, Maya, are you sure? The doctor said that." I put my head in my hands. Sasha rushed over, full of concern. "What is it? What's wrong?" I looked up, letting real tears fill my eyes, tears of betrayal, but she thought they were tears of fear. It's the results from that scan I had last month. The one I didn't tell anyone about." I took a shaky breath, laying the bait. "The doctor thinks. He thinks I might need surgery on my vocal cords. He says there's a node. It could change my voice. Permanently." Sasha's eyes went wide with real, genuine shock. Then they filled with the practiced sympathy I knew so well. "Blake, why didn't you tell me?" I was scared, I whispered, leaning into her hug. I had told no one this. Because it wasn't true. For 2 days, I waited. I watched my Annoncier notifications like a hawk. Sasha was extra sweet, bringing me soups and talking in a soft voice. Then, on the 3rd morning, it happened. A new comment from Annoncier on an old singing video I'd posted. It read, "Soon you won't be able to fake that smile when you're faking those notes. Vocal cord surgery can't fix a broken spirit. Just ask your doctor." My blood ran cold, then hot. There it was. The trap had sprung. The fake medical secret, shared only with Sasha, was now in the mouth of my tormentor. The final piece was the why. I needed to understand the monster. While Sasha was at her yoga class, I did something I never thought I would. I went into her room. I knew she kept a journal in a locked box at the back of her closet. The key was in her favorite childhood book on the shelf. My hands were steady as I opened it. I wasn't crying anymore. I was just empty. The entries weren't about jealousy. They were about control. Blake's so lost without me. After the Annoncier post about her thighs, she asked me what to eat for a week. I guided her. I am guiding her. She canceled the date with Leo after I, as Annoncier, planted the idea he was embarrassed by her. She stayed home with me instead. We painted our nails. It was perfect. I am the author of her story. The villain and the hero. The threat makes her need the rescue. Without the storm, I'm just the girl holding an umbrella nobody needs. I closed the book. The room was silent. My whole life, my anxieties, my relationships, my breakdowns, was a television show she was producing and starring in. She wasn't jealous of my spotlight. She was addicted to being the director. I put everything back exactly as it was. I walked to my room and looked at my reflection. The girl in the mirror had been a puppet. Not anymore. I had all the evidence. The tablet, the browser history, the baited comment, the journal. Now, I needed the right stage. Sasha loved drama? I would give her the grand finale. I went in the living room where Sasha was now, humming and making a smoothie. I forced a tired, grateful smile. "Sash," I said, my voice soft. "I've been thinking. I'm done being a victim. I'm going to do a live stream tomorrow night. A big, raw, honest one. To address the bullying once and for all. To take my power back. Will you help me? I need you to run the tech like always." Her face lit up with pure, electric delight. "Oh my God, yes. Blake, that's an amazing idea. It's so brave. We'll craft the perfect message. We'll control the narrative." She looked so excited. She thought she was about to produce her greatest episode yet. I smiled back. "Yeah, let's control the narrative." She had no idea the main character had just rewritten the entire script. The lights for the live stream were too bright and too hot. I could feel my makeup starting to sweat. Sasha was in her usual spot, just off camera, giving me 2 thumbs up. Her face was glowing with excitement. She thought this was our big triumph. "Okay, we're living 3, 2. She whispered, pointing at me. The red light on the camera blinked on. I saw the viewer count jump into the thousands. My heart wasn't pounding from nerves this time. It was steady. It was ready. "Hey everyone," I began, my voice softer than usual. "Thank you for coming. This isn't a regular post. Something happened this week that made me realize I need to address the elephant in the room. The bullying. The Adnan Seer account." I could see the chat start to fly with supportive messages and crying emojis. Sasha nodded vigorously, urging me on. "For 3 years, this person has targeted me. They've said the most vicious things. The worst part was they were often, right? About my insecurities. About my fears. It made me feel like I was being hunted by someone who knew me. I took a shaky breath, this one for real. I became obsessed. I let it change me. I asked for more validation. I leaned harder on the people around me. I was terrified. I looked directly into the camera, my eyes clear. "Last night, I found out who Adnan Seer is." The chat exploded. Sasha's encouraging smile froze for a second, then came back, confused. "I'm going to share my screen now," I said. My hands were calm as I clicked the button. The first thing I brought up was the photo I took that night on the couch. The glowing tablet with the Adnan Seer notification, with Sasha's sleeping form in the background. I didn't say her name. I didn't have to. This was taken in my living room. "That's my sister's tablet." A gasp, sharp and real, came from off camera. Sasha's hand flew to her mouth. Next, I showed the browser history searches. These are searches for burner apps and VPNs found on our shared computer. Then, I pulled up the comment from Adnan Seer about the vocal cord surgery. I only ever told one person a fake story about needing vocal surgery. As a test. That person was my sister Sasha. 2 days later, Adnan Seer knew about it. The live chat was pure chaos. Sasha was no longer in the frame. I heard a small, choked sound. Finally, I shared a photo of one journal entry. I had blurred Sasha's name, but the handwriting and the purple ink of her favorite pen were unmistakable to anyone who knew her. The line was clear: I am the author of her story. The villain and the hero. I stopped sharing my screen. I looked back into the lens. My own sister created a monster to make herself my savior. She knew every secret, every fear, and she weaponized them. She wanted to control my life so completely that she became the storm just so she could be my umbrella. I took a deep breath. This was the real twist. And you know what? In the most messed up way possible, she did me a favor. The chat slowed, confused. Adnan Seer was right. I was a fraud. I was living for your likes. I was terrified of the real, unfiltered world. By forcing me to stare at my worst fears every single day for 3 years, she accidentally made me face them. She made me ask, who am I without the cameras? Without the sister manager? Without the drama? My voice grew stronger. So I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm deleting this account. I'm quitting the influencer life. I'm going back to school for graphic design, something I actually love. The person Adnan Seer tried to destroy is gone. And I'm kind of grateful. I finally turned my head and looked off camera, right at where Sasha was standing, pale and shaking. The camera caught my profile, my calm, disappointed expression. You wanted to be the author, Sasha. But the main character just walked off your set. The show's over. I reached forward and clicked the end stream button. The red light died. The silence in the room was thicker than any I'd ever felt. Sasha was just staring at me, her eyes wide with a mix of horror, fury, and utter shock. You ruined me, she whispered, her voice breaking. You did that to yourself the minute you decided my life was your puppet show, I said, standing up. I started unplugging lights, my movements methodical. You're not my manager anymore. Get your things and leave my apartment. You can't do this. I built you, she shouted, tears of rage finally falling. You broke me, I corrected her quietly, not even looking up. And then I put myself back together. Without you. Now get out. She stood there for a long minute, but I just kept cleaning up, erasing the set of our final performance. Finally, I heard her footsteps, the sound of her grabbing her bag, and the slam of my front door. The revenge wasn't in the public humiliation. It was in the silence that followed. It was in opening my laptop and starting the account deletion process. It was in texting Leo and saying, we need to talk, for real this time, no filters. It was in the first deep breath I took in 3 years that didn't feel like it was being watched. Sasha's world was the drama. So I took away her audience, her lead actor, and her entire plot. I left her alone in an empty theater. My revenge was a quiet, peaceful life she could never understand and was no longer invited to be a part of. Thanks for listening to the end of my story. If you've ever had someone in your life who seemed to love the drama of helping you more than they actually loved helping you, this is your sign to rewrite your own script. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories about finding your voice.